Good morning. It's Friday morning. We made it through the week. Congratulations. We're finding all kinds of things about technology. If you guys got on yesterday, found out that sometimes when you post something, it takes a little while to post it. So it may have been a little bit after 9 before it got going, but we're learning how to do this. So thank you for joining me again this morning for our third day of Zentangles. Today we are going to work with more straight lines and things that you can do from squares. Again, if you're just joining us, we're learning different Zentangle patterns. Monday, I'm going to start you with a simple design that you can put these patterns into. All you need is a pen and paper. So go get you some pen and paper while I transfer the phone to our little handy dandy holder so that you can see me drawing as you go. Turn on some relaxing music and let's enjoy doing some Zentangles together on this Friday morning. All right, hopefully everybody can see the paper and we are ready to go. This first one is called Bales, B-A-L-E-S. And most of the Zentangles at one time or other were inspired by something that somebody saw as far as in nature. So you can start with any size shape. If you want to do it on a piece of typing paper, today we're going to do 6. You can just make, your lines and have 6 spaces. So this one's called Bales. And we're just going to start off with a plus in the middle of our paper, like this. All right, then we're going to do another line and just kind of estimate the middle. And estimate the middle across, so that you have 16 squares on your paper for right now. When you're doing a composition, you might have 6 across or 8 across, whatever you need to fill the space. All right, so then you're going to start, and this time we did curves yesterday, but we're going to do curves with starting and ending point now. We're going to start at the top of this square and we're going to curve out and meet at that intersection. Then we're going to come and curve out on this side and meet at that intersection, and we're going to do this all the way down like this. So it's kind of similar to our twisted ribbons we did yesterday. All right, so we're going to start here, go out, curve, and back and forth. We're going to do this again on this one. I'm going to start here, out, now we're going to turn it this direction. That one's called Bales. Bales. All right, our next one is called Square in a Square. Okay, so we're going to start again, and this time we're going to start with just our space, and instead of having actually draw the squares, you're just going to make the squares by making circles. And it's like it's going to be a grid. Okay? After you get your grid, we're going to do very similar in that we're going to connect these by making curves. Same thing we're going to do back and forth like this. So like if your design was down here, you could connect that. Maybe you only have room for half a circle up that way. Then you're going to turn, and you're going to do the same thing the other direction. Okay, now inside these spaces, you're going to mimic that shape that you created. It was just like a little curved rectangle. And then on top of that, you're going to put another circle in the middle of that little rectangle. Then we get to add the contrast. So after you get all the drawing done, this is where you can just like be watching your television show and add the contrast, or you can switch to a bigger pen. So you'll start by soliding in the circle, and then you solid in this part around the square. And when you do that for all of them, then you get kind of a design that's every other one. And it'll look something like this. It's a variation, or if you don't want to color it in, it'll look something like that. Squares in a square. All right, next one. I don't know how to pronounce that, but that's the name of it, Sabi. And it's again squares, but this time you just start with a dot and you make a square around that dot. Then you make another square around the dot, and you make another square around the dot, and then you fill a border around the squares with dots. And your next one, you do it a different direction. You start with a dot, and you fill the square, and you just change the space, and then make your dots going a different direction. And you just continue doing different directions. You can make bigger squares if you have more space that you need to fill. And then as an added thing, as far as once you get your composition done, you can take a pencil and just the areas between things, you can add some shading. Zombie, or Zambi. Different people came up with these designs, and they all got to name them themselves. And I am not a really good person for being able to pronounce these words, so I apologize to the makers of these designs that I am not saying the name of the designs right. But this one is like Kujiniku or Jinika or something like that. But we're going to start again with a rectangle, and you do not even have to make the squares be straight up and down. They can be like diagonal. So like if you want to do diagonal, you can do them straight or you can do them diagonal. We're just going to start with some squares. So they don't have to be exact. They don't have to be straight. Now every other one on this particular design, every other one, you're going to put a little square and solid it in. Not every one, just every other one. So like if I do that, then I'm going to go over here. Now I might only have just a little bit of the square showing. Okay. Now in the boxes that you don't have squares in, you're going to take and make a line and half them. Like this. Then you're going to go from this corner and half again. If you don't have a corner down here, you can't do that. All right, then we're going to take and we're going to cut off the top part. All right, then we're going to take and this part on the bottom, we're going to solid that in to make it be contrast. And if I had more time, then this would be a solid black, but I'm not going to be able to get this solid in here right now for you, but you'll be able to get the idea. Okay, now on either side of your curves, you're going to, or your lines, you're going to make curves. You're going to take and make curves like this. And then on this side, you're going to make curves like this. and you'll continue on, and your design will look something like this one. Hopefully you guys can see that without the light reflecting on it. All right, next one is called Flukes. So for this one, we're going to just divide, I think, like an X. And again, it doesn't have to exactly match. Okay, halfway, halfway. Okay, so we've got our grid. This one is a little simpler in that you just have to remember that which way you start. So like if we start at the top, we're going to make a line like this, and we're going to make 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to do the same thing starting down here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now, if you don't have your square, you just kind of have to imagine where that square is. And so you can go up here, 1, 2, 3. So on this one, it kind of goes up. Then, again, we add the contrast by soliding in just that little box that's left. And it will look something like this. Flukes. All right, our last one for the day is one of my very favorite. And Pat Dimps, if you're on, it's your favorite too. It's the one that you say that together we're going to get at some point. So hi everybody. All right, so on this one you have to start out with little tiny squares that you solid in, and you're going to start by making 4 across and 4 down. This one to me almost looks magical when you get it finished, because it's like you're like starting and you're like, oh, it doesn't look like much, and then all of a sudden it's like it's really cool. I made my square a little bigger, so I'm going to add some of these down here. All right, so what we have to think of is we got rows, and all we're going to do is start at the top of our shape, and we're going to go and make a line on this side of that square, and then we're going to come on this side and make a line down. Opposite. All right, now when we come to this next line, we're going to do opposite of what we did here. So we were on this side of the square, so now we're going to go on this side. So we're doing opposite. See, so in other words, that was on this side, this is on this side. These are the inside of the square, inside, the outside of the square, inside, outside. Now we're going to come over here. We're going to do the same thing. So this is the inside of the square. Inside, outside, inside, outside, inside. And again, the same thing here. This on the outside, we can't see it. Inside, outside, inside, outside. All right, now we're going to take and turn our paper this direction. And we're going to do the exact same thing that we've been doing. We're going to go outside, this side, back and forth. So this is on the inside of this one, so we're going to go inside, outside, inside, outside. And we have a weaving pattern. Ta-da! All right, so Rich is going to adjust this so that hopefully you guys can see me as we're finishing. I want to wish everybody a wonderful weekend. Put on some Hallmark love stories and sit around and pop you some popcorn, drink you some wine, whatever you drink, popcorn and Dr. Pepper, iced tea. Enjoy, call somebody on the phone, watch the movie together, just stay connected. Love you all, and I will see you again on Monday. Remember to wash your hands. Bye-bye.